In this video, I'll be showing you how to install a Mag-Hytech rear diff cover on a 2002 Ram 2500 with a Dana 70 axle. Okay, so the tools you're going to need for this job are, first and foremost, you're going to need a 3/8 inch drive, whether that's on a ratchet or I have it on a breaker bar. That's what you're going to need to remove the fill plug from the diff cover. To remove the diff cover bolts, they're 14mm sockets. I use air tools. You can just use the breaker bar or just a socket ratchet. You shouldn't have a problem. I've done that before as well. Then once you get all the bolts off and stuff, you're going to need a small flathead screwdriver. I mean, that's real small. Dead blow hammer, maybe a pry bar, depending on how your thing is, and also I like to use a box cutter to cut the RTV. Once you get the cover off, obviously you're going to need a drain pan that can hold at least, depending on what you have back there, I'd say, safe bet, make sure it can hold at least 8 quarts. That way you're not spilling it all over the place. Safety reasons, you're going to want a wheel chock. If your truck is stock, you might need to jack up the vehicle. Probably not, since it's a truck, but mine has 5 inches of lift, 37-inch tires, so I actually can sit under my truck without lifting it. Either way, I still use a wheel chock for safety. When you're cleaning it out, you're going to use brake clean. I like non-chlorinated. It has a lot less vapors to breathe in, and you'll notice it when you spray it in there. You're kind of in a confined area. You kind of lose, you start feeling lightheaded. So I use non-chlorinated. And also you're going to want like a Brillo pad, steel wool, whatever have you, to clean off the old RTV. Once you get everything back, you're going to need, if you're going with the original cover, you're going to need new RTV to reapply. Then you're going to have to tighten everything down, so you're going to need a torque wrench and the 14mm. With the Mag-Hytech, it came with a hex bolt, so I used an 8mm to tighten those down. What else are you going to need? So you get everything tightened down. You're going to need your fluids. I'm going with 75 W140. This Valvoline SynPower is a full synthetic. It's for limited slip differentials. I'm not sure if this one has one or not. I guess we'll find out. It's supposed to have the additive in it. It is GL5 approved, so that means it's good to go in this truck. And it also has the Chrysler MS 8985 limited slip additive. It's compatible with it. Now, some people say even when they went with this, they still had chatter with their slip. I'm not sure if I have a slip, so I just bought this anyways. It's like $8 so bucks at the dealership. Not anything that I'm like I'm gonna save pennies on. So I got this. I haven't driven the truck yet to see if I need it, but we'll see if we need to add that with the fluid. If you're going with the factory, let me check here what the capacity is. I went with 6 quarts with the new differential cover, and that has an increased capacity over the stock one. Here it says Dana 70, 7 to 7.8 pints. Now a pint is roughly, if you divide it in half, that's what quarts are. So you're looking at 3.5 to less than 4 quarts. So if you're sticking with the original cover, 4 quarts will do you fine. And then also paper towels and rubber gloves always help with cleanup and stuff. So these are all the tools you need to do the job. Alright, in this part of the video, we're going to be removing the diff cover. I'm going to treat this as if you were just doing a diff fluid change, even though I'm replacing the cover itself. So first step you want to do, remove this fill plug. If you cannot get the fill plug out and you drain all the fluid, guess what? You're not getting any fluid back into it. So before you remove the cover itself, you're gonna have to remove that. So basically it's gonna be a I think it's a 1/2" drive, no, 3/8 drive. I have it on my 1/2" breaker bar just because you want a little extra space, and just gonna crack it open, and you can see you can slowly twist it out. My truck is uphill right now, and it's also the diff doesn't get level because of the lift. I have tapered blocks to make it a little better. Actually, the tapered blocks make it worse because it makes the pinion angle better. But so you're gonna get a bunch poured out. Take a look at the fluid too. You know, you don't want really frothy and white looking stuff. That means you went in to a decent amount of water. Mine looks okay. I'm not sure when the last time it was changed, but it's not black and it's not milky white. Sometimes you'll get like a weird creamy yellow too, which is not the greatest. So while that's true, I'll just let that part drain. But you're going to want to remove all these bolts. I usually keep the top two until I can break the seal with the RTV. Make sure you keep this tag. It has some important information on it. So these are 14mm. You can use a socket wrench, a ratchet and a socket. I'm just going to use an air gun because I can, but I've done it both ways. No problem. Sometimes if they're really stuck and you can't get it, try a breaker bar. And if that doesn't work, try like a dead blow or a sledge on top of just hitting the handle. That'll usually break it loose. They're not usually too tight. It's usually the RTV that keeps everything sealed up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and break some of these loose. I did man, it was on that tight. I did apply penetrating fluid to this the night before, so nothing was going to be stuck, although it appears that I'm getting it stuck on the socket versus okay. So you might have to just, I mean, they are a tight fit. I'm not sure if it's because of all the road grime and oil that's on them, so you might not want to, if you're using an air gun, take them all the way out. Just, you know, crack them loose and then screw them out by hand. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I will get back to you when I'm breaking the seal. Okay, so now we're back. I should have mentioned before, might be a good idea to remove your spare tire. I don't have one, and my truck is lifted up enough. I'm actually in a sitting position, so it's a lot easier to do that than on your backside. As you can see, I moved them all. I moved the tag. Just have these two left on there, but they are loose. So idea now is to break the seal with the RTV. A lot of people like to use dead blow hammers. So that's what I'm going to try. I've done it before, but it looks like they put a lot of RTV on this. You know, as they should. It was Dana 70 on a Cummins turbo diesel truck. So I'm just going to bash it a little bit. If it doesn't crack, I'm just going to take a small fine screwdriver and start tapping in around other edges. And again, use a dead blow. Don't be using an actual metal hammer, because that'll cause some issues. So I'm going to take this little screwdriver and I'm just going to put it in the side here and start tapping it in. Be careful, don't use a big one. You don't want to dig into the sealing surface, because then you might have issues later. So you're just going to pick several spots all around. It's not really like a sticky substance, it's just kind of sealed on there. You can also try the spots down here, and be careful, because once it breaks loose, it's all coming out. So got it in a spot where it might break loose. Keep the pan under it. I'm going to start going with a like a little Slim Jim, since it's not giving me too much to work with the small one. It also helps sometimes. You could just put your finger in there and pull. Sometimes it'll, you'll have loosened it up enough where that'll work. But I'm just going to be working on this for a little bit. Like I said, you don't want to damage the mating surface on the face of the differential to the pan. If you make a dent in there or something like that, you're going to have a lot of fun pouring diff fluid in and watching it come right back out. So take your time with it.